Hi everyone.
I'm Marta Wójcik, Executive Director and Curator of the Westcott House.
I'm Tom Pfeiffer, Director of Museum Operations, and we welcome you all to our live event.
That's right, and this may look a little goofy to you, but these are the times that goofiness is called for. So just so you know, this is roughly, it's not exactly 6 feet, and of course we are trying to keep social distance, but what's interesting about it is Frank Lloyd Wright's height was about 5'7", about this noodle, okay? He was the, lying about it a little bit, it's recorded that he was trying to make himself taller. So that's one of the many things Frank Lloyd Wright, right?
That's the same problem I have, trying to get taller.
So, it comes handy these days. We're gonna try to keep our distance, but have fun, and we hope you enjoy. You sit back and relax. We have a great program for you tonight. So, and keep sending those pictures. I love to see them. We got some people who send us pictures of having a good time. So please send them to my cell phone that I provided in my email. This is a private party that we offered to ticket holders. But of course, hopefully as a guest, you are able to also share it with others. So we hope you enjoy, and welcome to Frank Lloyd Wright virtual birthday party. Thank you.
Thank you all. Enjoy your martinis and the beer. And we'll see you later.
Hello everyone. This is Marta Wójcik, Executive Director and Curator of the Westcott House.
And this is Kevin Rose, historian with the Turner Foundation, and more importantly, Marta's husband.
And we are going on a ride with Tom Pfeiffer, Director of Museum Operations. He's at the wheel. And this is one of those unique opportunities. We have about 100 people in this car, if you can imagine, because that's how many of us are watching.
So we're going down East High Street. We passed the Kroll Mansion. The Kroll family actually owned the Westcott lots. We think they were planning on building that beautiful mansion on those lots, and eventually decided on the land across the street and sold it, and Burton and Orpha eventually purchased it. But you can see the beautiful mansions going up and down the street. A lot of Burton's business partners owned these mansions back in that period, 1903 through the early 1920s. So this was an area that he was obviously quite familiar with. It was also the journey he would take to work every day in his car, his Westcott car.
This is a beautiful car, as you can see. It's actually celebrating 100 years this year, so it's pretty important marker for our car. We got it in 2008 from a private collector. Kevin and I actually had a chance to check it out in 2006 and take a ride, and of course we were sold immediately because it's very rare to actually get access to a Westcott car, and we were really anxious because at the time we didn't have any funds to purchase it, but later on our colleagues secured a grant and we were able to buy it. So we are downtown.
Yes. So obviously downtown has changed a lot since the days that Burton and Orpha were walking around the urban environment. But a lot of our great landmarks are thankfully still there, like the Bushnell building off to the side, which when Burton and Orpha Westcott were living in Springfield was not yet Wren's department store. It was still a business building owned by the Bushnell family, the building where the Wright brothers patented their airplane with Harry Tolman. So there we see our beautiful city building. Now it's the Heritage Center Museum. But back in Burton and Orpha's period, this is where city government was located. And when Burton was mayor, that's where his office was at. So he was managing the city of Springfield out of that building. There's a great photo of him actually in one of the grand kind of meeting rooms sitting at the head of the table.
Also, right by the Heritage Center, you got a glimpse of Coal Hatch, which is a new, beautiful market place where the Market Bar is located. And our friends from the Market Bar created our new version of Perfectly Frank. Thank you, Andy. Shout out to Andy.
And we'll have a chance later on tonight to actually learn how to make that, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's great. So I believe Tom is going to be turning right here again. Yes, and we'll be going down North Fountain Avenue. This was, in this period, this building had just been finished, the annex to the Bushnell building. But really, in Burton and Orpheus period, you're kind of leaving the main heart of downtown. Today, this is kind of the heart of downtown Springfield with wine-ins and all of our great little restaurants and shops.
It was on a banner. I had to mention that. We are arriving at the Mother Stewart's brewery. Some of you are enjoying Mother Stewart's beer if you've received your party box today. If not, you need to make sure to visit Mother Stewart whenever you can. They are our wonderful friends in a beautiful building. And on our right, there is Itinerant Studio. This is fabulous place where all the artists make their art, and First Friday is a great opportunity to come by and buy some wonderful art.
So this is the metallic casket building. Someday will be repurposed into downtown housing. Will be one of the great places to live in downtown Springfield. And there we see it again on the side. Big, beautiful windows, great for adaptive reuse. And then here's the back of Mother Stewart's in the new Bernice Abbott mural. Bernice Abbott, famous American photographer who grew up as a young child in Springfield. Actually, not far from where that shot is right there. All right, so here we are on West High Street. This was quite the active area during Burton and Orpheus' lifetime, with the construction of the Elks Lodge there on the left and the Masonic Temple on the right. Really just a beautiful district just off of downtown. Tom asking for directions.
Hey Tom, you know where you're going?
And here's the back side of the building we saw earlier, the Heritage Center Museum, but originally the city building. This is probably the entrance that Burton would have used to enter his office on a daily basis. So in the annex to the museum, really quite beautiful. All right, we're just entering the South Fountain Historic District. This is where Marta and I live. This is really one of Springfield's great places to live. This is the area just off of downtown. We're going to be getting into the heart of the district here in just a second. This was a popular place to live still when Burton and Orpha moved to Springfield in 1903. Remained that way really through the 1920s up until about the Great Depression. And then the neighborhood fell into a bit of disrepair until in the 1970s, a group of passionate citizens moved back down here, started investing in the houses, and today it is becoming one of the great places to live in Springfield again.
Yeah, it's so nice to take a walk from downtown to our home, and it's really great to see this come together. And I just, when I look back and our neighbors starting this movement back in like 70s and 80s, I'm like, oh my God, crazy people. But it's worked to our advantage now. There's so much done, and it's just we kind of reaping benefits of their hard work. So our neighbor's house coming back on the left, and then there's our lavender house. There's a glimpse of it. This is truly just one big commercial for you to consider buying that auction package that we have. Actually, you have two great packages that are for grabs. The one with a car ride for 4 people and drinks at Mother Stewart. And there's another one that is a Polish Christmas party that we will host in our house in the historic district. So please consider bidding. It's through July 15th that you can bid on it. We would love to host you.
Marta makes all of the pierogies from scratch. Occupies like 2 days of her holiday season, rolling out pierogies in the kitchen and making the stuffings and the borscht. And then of course the Polish vodka and beer is always a added bonus.
Absolutely. I never guessed I would get into it. But far away from Poland, I kind of treasure those traditions even more.
So these are some houses on the right that were restored by the Turner Foundation. The foundation came down in the neighborhood around 2003, 2004 and started buying some properties in the areas that had less development, less investment in them, and put some money into them. And really, when one house restores, then the houses next to it get restored. We've really seen just great momentum down in the district to see the neighborhood turn around. But as you can see in the video, there's still some houses that could use some tender, loving care. So we would love to have you move down to our neighborhood and join us, become our neighbor.
Look at this. This is such a beauty. I cannot tell you what those things are. It looks like like you're on an airplane with all those things. I don't even know what they point, but clearly Tom knows for our benefit, so we are safe.
Does he though?
I think he does. I think he does. He got a pretty good handle on this car, which is really quite difficult to drive, actually. I mean, I never tried. I never even attempted to try. Speaking of which, this is kind of funny. When Westcott's lived in Springfield and they were just about to create their own company, they already owned an electric car, and there is an article in the paper where when they quote Orpha Westcott, who says she enjoys driving an electric car. She's yet to try to drive the touring car. She said it's a little bit harder. But it was kind of a revelation to me, because quite honestly, I did not realize they had electric cars back then.
And this car is actually 12 years after that car she's talking about. So you can imagine the technology in those early years and how it was evolving. By 1920, I imagine she probably could drive this car. But a 1908 car, oh my goodness, the struggle of that. By the way, Marta, I think I'd like to get a wood steering wheel on our Subaru. I think that would be a nice touch.
I think it's also slightly bigger, isn't it? It has this presence about it.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Frank Lloyd Wright's 153rd birthday party. I'm Dick Hatfield, and I've emceed all but 136 of them. And this will be our first virtual party. You're in for a good time tonight. Thank you for joining us for our annual fundraiser, with all proceeds going to the Westcott House. All of us are so grateful to those of you who join us for your continued generous support of this event. With the abundance of virtual experiences these days, it's a gesture of goodwill from you to support us in this way. We thank you so much for your support under these circumstances. Next year, rain or shine, we will welcome you back to our classic Frank Lloyd Wright birthday party in the gardens of the Westcott House. Meanwhile, let's enjoy this special virtual event organized for your enjoyment by the staff of the Westcott House, Hatch New Media, the Now Device, the Market Bar, and musicians and artists from near and far. And may we send out a big thank you to our lead sponsor, Park National Bank. It's been a source of delight for me to introduce Sunday and Mr. Gessel during their annual Coast to Coast tour, which always includes a stop in Springfield. They have been awarded the honor of being the best duo in Seattle. They bring back the sounds of a bygone era, and they open the joys of music wherever they perform. Ladies and gentlemen, give your best welcome to Sunday and Mr. Gessel.
Hello, it's Sunday and Mr. Gessel. Happy birthday, Frank Lloyd Wright. We are so bummed that we can't be with you in person this year, but we're super happy and honored to be a part of the virtual celebration. Thank you to Westcott House for having us. We've got a couple of songs for you guys. Please enjoy. Here I go again, I hear those trumpets blow again, all aglow again, taking a chance on love. Here I slide again, about to take that ride again, all starry-eyed again, taking a chance on love. I thought the cards were a frame-up, I never would try, but now I'm taking the game up, and the queen of hearts is high. Things are mending now, I see a rainbow ending now, there's a happy ending now, taking a chance on love. I thought the cards were a frame-up, I never would try, but now I'm taking a game up, and the queen of hearts is high. Oh, things are mending now, I see a rainbow ending now, we'll have a happy ending now, taking a chance, oh, taking a chance on love. Well, we sure hope you're taking a chance on love right now. What a great thing to take a chance on. Thanks for hanging out with us, folks. We've got another great song coming up for you. This is a song that you will likely recognize as a Les Paul and Mary Ford tune and an Ella Fitzgerald song. And we actually love both of their versions so much that we mashed them together. So please enjoy our version of How High the Moon. Somewhere there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. The darkest night would shine if you would come to me too. Till it comes true that you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, it's where you are. Somewhere there's heaven, how near, how far. The darkest night would shine if you would come to me too. Until it will, I'll still my heart, how high the moon. Shy but away, but I do for you, no, but a day. Shy but away, but I never you, no, but a day. But I need about the bubble day, but I don't know why I'm fire. But I'm free, but I'm way, but I don't know about fire. But I don't know why the bubble day, double on never let me, but it never do, or it never there. Baby, it no, but I don't be, but it no, but I know, but I know, but I never there, but it but I will never there. Somewhere there's music, how faint the tune. Somewhere there's heaven, now I'm the moon. The darkest night will shine if you will come to me too. Till it comes true, and that you will love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, it's where you are. Somewhere there's heaven, how near, how far. The darkest night will shine if you will come to me too. Until it will, I'll still my heart, how high the moon. Oh, how high the moon. We sure love that tune.
Hi, I'm Andrew with the Market Bar. We're going to make a classic cocktail that's a tradition here at the Westcott House. It's called the Perfectly Frank. I'm going to put my creative touch on this cocktail. So if you follow with me here, we've got a few ingredients that we can share so that you may have a chance to make this at home. We're using a Belvedere Polish vodka. We're using fresh pomegranate juice, fresh squeezed lime juice. We're using a handmade Luxardo maraschino cherry syrup. I'm using Fee Brothers cranberry bitters, and I've got a little bit of club soda. And if you follow me here, we'll walk through this cocktail together and watch this tutorial. First, we're going to use 1.5 ounces of the Belvedere vodka. Next, we'll use 1 full ounce of fresh pomegranate syrup juice here. The third ingredient will be freshly squeezed lime juice. We'll use just about 1/2 ounce of that. The fourth ingredient is the Luxardo maraschino cherry syrup. We'll use 1/2 ounce of that as well. And with bitters, you don't really need too much. This is really just to kind of bring something special to the cocktail. I chose to use the cranberry bitters, which will complement the pomegranate paired with the cherry and lime. And you really just need a couple of dashes of that. And when you use bitters, you make sure that you dash fairly strong so that you do get the proper pour. Okay, and we're just going to take these ingredients now and mix that with some ice. You want plenty of ice in this shaker because you've got to get the proper dilution, because water is a component in every cocktail that you make. So we've got that about 3/4 filled with ice, and we'll take our smaller Boston shaker and shake that for about 10 to 15 seconds. Should be good. Then we're going to take this and put this cocktail in a coupe here. We'll just strain that very carefully in here. Perfect. And to finish this cocktail off, we want to do 2 variations of a garnish. I like to add a little bit of club soda to this drink, just to give it some bubbles for your drink, just to kind of excite your taste buds a little. So we'll top it off with a little club soda here. And I brought some fresh rosemary. That is always quite nice, just for aromatics in the cocktail. And it's also very beautiful. So you just place that right into the drink here and enjoy. You have a classic cocktail here at the Westcott House that is a beautiful, almost Cherokee red color. Cheers.
Well, cheers everyone. I hope you're enjoying your drinks at home. Thank you again for joining us. This is Kevin, my husband. You met him on a ride, on the Westcott car ride.
Very close, all of us in the back of that car. It was pretty tight.
Well, you know, and of course we lost our noodle because we are from the same household. By the way, he's 6'7". You can.
I'm standing actually on low ground.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit lower here.
Makes a little, you're not good for social distancing. Anyway, I want to tell you a little about what's coming up. We have amazing artists who recorded some really great music for us for this event. This year, as you may know, 15 years of the Westcott House is coming, and our museum opened in 2005. So we wanted to celebrate extra special. And so we were in conversation with Kevin Loftus from Mother Stewart. We're talking about having some partnership to bring a couple of musicians here this year, Zoe Bookbinder and Erica Davies. Of course, things had to change, so they send us music, but we are still planning on bringing them next year. They are magnificent. It's funny how it works. Several years ago, we were at the conference in New Orleans, and we stumbled upon this little cafe.
The Three Muses.
It was really kind of headache to find something great, and then there it was, Three Muses. And musician after musician, performer after performer, we were just blown away.
And the food was amazing too. Literally, if you're in New Orleans, I know it's New Orleans, it's the food capital. This place, the Three Muses on Frenchman Street, right? Yep. Frenchman Street is by far our favorite place there. Probably our favorite place in the country. I feel like they should be tuning in. This is not a paid advertisement for them.
And this is probably not, like, you actually, like, people getting angry because they can't travel to New Orleans now. So, like, let's stop it. Okay, so we saw Zoe there, and we saw a couple other musicians. And so later on, we got in touch with Zoe, asked her to come here, and she came to perform at the house a few years ago. We loved her so much, we want her back, so she's coming back. And then Erica, can you tell us about how we...
Yeah, Erica, I like to spend time looking through music, just trying to discover new artists. Music people do this. I'm not necessarily a music person, but I was going through kind of the top 10 charts and various things on new emerging artists, and I was looking through the jazz charts for the best jazz singles at the time, and she was like number 2 in the country. Miss Erica Davies, I Love You, I Do. And I later found out it was because she was on a Subaru commercial, which I'd not seen, but
which raised her profile.
Which raised her profile in that period, and this was the song from the commercial. And we discovered her album, and she is really one of the most talented artists I've ever listened to in my entire life. And she's out of the San Diego area. So yeah, she's become this. I feel like we know her because we listen to her so often in the house. The kids listen to her, sing along. It's a family favorite.
And then some of you who are especially local, but hopefully those across the country have heard of Griffin House. He's our local sweetheart. We love him so much. Every time he comes here, he generates such a big crowd because he's an incredible musician, and he's also one of the kindest people out there. So he was kind enough to send us some music from Connecticut, and he said that he will come back to Westcott House. He's one of the artists too that we had privilege to work with in the past. So we had a wonderful concert here a few years ago in those gardens, and we hope to do it again.
So Connecticut, California, Louisiana.
Yes, yes. Here we go. Enjoy.
Hello, I am Zoe Bookbinder. I have a lovely memory of playing at the Westcott House some years ago. I hope I can return soon, but in the meantime, I am beaming to you from New Orleans, Louisiana. It is a rainy day in New Orleans. I hope the weather is beautiful where you are, in the Westcott Garden. And since that's where you are, I'm going to play you a song called Garden. It is a garden, it is a garden, it is a garden, it is a garden, it is a garden that you grow, seeds you sow. It will never demand you let down your guard, forget all your scars. It is a garden, it is a garden, it is a garden, it is a garden, it is something that you do, not something you find. It's never unkind. It does not happen to you. It's something you choose, and you can choose who. It is a garden. And now I'll play you a song called Mirror, which specifically is about call-out culture and more broadly is about true justice and imagining a society, our society, where our focus and our goal is humans and healing and being at peace rather than punishing those who've caused harm. You are good at telling me how you think I ought to be, and I'm always telling you what you ought to do. Oh, we've really thought it through, thought it through. There are rules about the words we say, about who can take up how much space, and shame on you if you mess up. No apology will ever be enough. No second chance, the doors are shut. Maybe we could never measure up. Though these rules have a reason, we are all flawed humans, though it's often hard to tell. We're all trying hard as hell, and we've learned from the times we failed. We've learned from the times we failed. What are we fighting for, and who's the enemy in this war? We've got our weapons facing in. Isn't that our hate always wins? We're forgetting where we've been, where we have already been. There's so much I still have to learn, many bridges I won't mean to burn, and people that I will demonize, mistakes that I will criticize. I hope one day I will be wise, I will be wise. You are good at telling me how you think I ought to be, and I'm always telling you what you ought to do. Oh, we've really thought it through, thought it through, thought it through. Thank you. I'm assuming you're clapping, though I can't hear you. This next song is called Haunted. And this will be my last song. Thanks so much to Westcott House for hosting me from afar. I'll be back in the flesh in the future. There were There were two versions of you. Who I'd get, I never knew. Sometimes you were kind, but often I'd find cold rejection left me hungry for affection. And shame on me to mention wanting attention. Anytime I stood my ground, you would pout and put me down. Instead of apologize, you would criticize. You said, should have known I wasn't wanted. And though I left you by those words, I'm haunted. I should have known I wasn't wanted. You would hang around and say you needed more time away. You said I wanted too much, I never said I didn't get enough. I didn't even ask you to come over. I didn't even ask you to come over. Why do I have to explain? Touching me when I said no's not a game. When men behave the way you did that day, you're the first to throw stones, to talk breaking bones. Anytime I stood my ground, you would pout and put me down. Instead of apologize, you would criticize. You said I should have known I wasn't wanted, and though I left you by those words, I'm haunted. I should have known I wasn't wanted. You said I should have known I wasn't wanted. I should have known I wasn't wanted. You said I should have known I wasn't wanted.
Hello, visitors of Westcott House. This is musician Erica Davies. Please enjoy my music until we meet in the future. I have got a mouth that cannot lie. Yes, these very lips did part the sea. And if you will look into my eyes, you will see yourself inside of me. Play me like a drum, I'll beat on time. It doesn't matter how you want to change the beat. You think I can walk on water, and it's got me
just a color that I wear. Well, it doesn't matter what you think you are to me, 'cause I told you how much I adore you, but it don't mean a thing. It ends and we agree to disagree. Just a color that I wear. Well, it doesn't matter what you think you are to me, 'cause I told you how much I adore you, but it don't mean a thing. It ends and we agree to disagree. I have got a mouth that cannot lie.
Hey Westcott House, how's it going? Just wanted to send you a couple songs and hope everything's going well. Wish I could be there, but I'll play a few remotely here from this little cabin in the woods until I can come back to Springfield. I think about you guys all the time and picked out a couple songs for you today. Hope to see you really soon. I don't really feel like talking right now. There's gotta be another way around somehow. I don't really feel like saying nothing. It's hard to see you in the shape I'm in. My love is weak and I lost my will. My thoughts are racing, I'm standing still. Hearts are one, and I know it's true. You can never get around what you gotta go through. I don't really feel like singing right now. I don't really feel like bringing you down. All my life, all I did was run. God forgive me for the things I've done. Our hearts are one, and I know it's true. You can never get around what you gotta go through. Our hearts are one, and I know it's true. You can never get around what you gotta go through. I don't know where to go from here. It's gonna take a little time for my mind to clear. I don't know where we went wrong, but I know I've been hiding from you way too long. Our hearts are one, and I know it's true. You can never get around what you gotta go through. Hearts are one, and I know it's true. You can never get around what you gotta go through. it can be a lonely night. When you're on your own and you're running out of light, it can be a real long ride. When you're running out of time. So when the time is right, don't hold back. When the time is right, don't hold back. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter where you start, only matters where you end. It can be a real long ride. When I'm looking in your eyes, give me just one more chance. Give me just one more try. When the time is right, don't hold back. When the time is right, don't hold back. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter where you start, only matters where you end. When the time is right, don't hold back. 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 Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter where you start, only matters where you end. Love you, Springfield. Thank you, Westcott House. Hope to see you really soon. Bye, guys.
My name is Kelly Booz, and I'm a visual artist here at Hatch Artist Studios in Springfield, Ohio. It's amazing to have a space, a dedicated art-making space in Springfield, right downtown. I live just a little ways away, so I can walk here, bike here. Not only is it a place where I can operate my business of just being an artist, it's kind of a sanctuary too. I'm primarily an oil painter. I also do drawings and printmaking, and I tend to focus on urban landscape, specifically areas that are being reclaimed by nature or have been neglected or abandoned in some way. My work is represented in Columbus by Sharon Weiss Gallery and in Cleveland by the River Gallery. During the whole pandemic, I feel like my work routine hasn't changed too much because I work alone and somewhat isolated anyway. So that part hasn't really changed, but just having other artists to reach out to and kind of touch base with, even just here within the Hatch building, hasn't happened anymore, so that's kind of strange. I teach several different classes and workshops, and those have been canceled or postponed indefinitely, so there's kind of this new normal. So it gives me more time for my own artwork, but quite honestly, the motivation level is something that I've been struggling with too. So I was interested in how Frank Lloyd Wright had a deep appreciation for traditional Japanese prints, woodblock printing, and just the overall Japanese aesthetic. So keeping that in mind, I did a relief print of the Westcott House in a woodblock style, although I did use linoleum. And each one is a little different, so I like how there's the same image there, yet each print is a little unique. Part of the Japanese aesthetic is there's beauty in something that's imperfect, so I really kind of kept that in mind as I was making these prints. So I teach a variety of programs at the Springfield Museum of Art. I've been teaching there for several years, painting, drawing, and printmaking. I also work with Project Jericho, an arts outreach organization here in town, and I teach the Rosewood Art Center in Kettering. So during this pandemic, the Springfield Museum of Art began a campaign called Moments for Joy. And during that, myself and another instructor created hand-printed cards that were sent to mainly nursing homes and other facilities in Clark County. It's a way to kind of, one, cheer up the residents, but also say, like, you know, we're here to offer the collection or any kind of online art viewing that we can. So I'm going to place my previously printed paper over the next plate, and I really need to try to line up to the registration marks I gave myself. And rub the back of it with, this is called a Baron. I use phone books for cleanup. They're really good because they soak up oil for oil painting and printmaking, so I'll clean off my spatula, and if I need to discharge, well, it came out pretty good.
I'd say that it was very light, energetic, and calm.
Calm and relaxing.
I thought it was really interesting to work with different material. Like, we did a lot of drawing, and I don't really see myself as an artist very much, so drawing with different materials and working on different kinds of things that I've never really been like taught before was really, really interesting.
Going to Falling Water and Kentucky, I've been going on the tours and seeing all of the houses. It was just really interesting to see the different architecture between the Westcott House and those houses were just a lot of fun, and just the views were just beautiful there, so that was a lot of fun.
This project was more of a like, this is like how the area is as it stands. So it was very like area versus area, like outdoors versus indoors, and its natural habitat. Like, it wasn't anything added to it much. It was just kind of in its state.
The elements of the Westcott House on the outside versus the Westcott House on the inside, and how the house just stands still.
I really liked messing with the lighting a lot. Like, it was very, like, the lighting itself was great because it was like natural sunlight. But I really wanted to pull like the color out of it and make it seem like very exaggerated. So it was like, this is what I saw when I see it myself.
It was kind of hard because, you know, you think that you just get the piece and then it's done. But when you go back and edit, it's a little difficult because you have to have the certain, you know, the certain effect to get where you want it to be on the video. So it's more difficult But it's good. I mean, it's detailed and it's how we wanted it to be, so.
Sound? Is that water? It's leaking again. Well, that's not good. So, why do you do this? Because this house is magnificent. It's so inspiring. Quite honestly, it feels like heaven. I wouldn't know. Over the last 15 years, we have been so fortunate to collaborate with some of the most talented and generous artists. To celebrate, we reached out to some of them to reflect on our partnerships and check how they're doing. With this first episode, we are taking you to our friends Vicky and Tom at Itinerant Studio.
Hi, we're Vicky and Tom of Itinerant Studio. We're a production art studio located here in downtown Springfield, Ohio. Tom and I are the artists and owners, and we sell directly to the design trade. That means your retailers, your interior designers, and what we do for them is we take our artwork, our photography, and some of Tom's printmaking, and we print it on different materials. Things like Venetian plaster, birch, recycled aluminum, different types of acrylic, and we do that in sizes ranging from tabletop all the way up to big installations that are 16 or 20 feet for things like hotels and places like that.
The workhorse of our print shop is our UV printer. It's the printer that we can print on solid substrates like the birch, the aluminum, fresco, Venetian plaster. And the way it starts out is we have a computer or digital file of an image. It is sent over to the computer, then we just print it from there. The interesting thing about this printer is it has print heads that ride to within a 10,000th of an inch of the material, and that's how we get the quality that we do with our image. One of the first things we do is we measure the material before we tape it down on the vacuum table. And once that's done, and we transfer the image over, then it's just a matter of pushing a button and making it print.
The cool part about this printer as well is that the pigment is UV cured. And what that means is it's protected from sunlight. So if you were to hang this piece of artwork or your image on your wall and it's in the sun, it's not going to fade.
We have an image that we printed over 3 years ago on the aluminum, and it's outside in direct sunlight. It's been out there for 3 years, and you can't tell the difference if I printed a new one and put it next to it.
So the building that you see us in, it's located in downtown Springfield, Ohio, and it's an awesome 5-story old warehouse. We purchased it about 6 years ago, moved in, and started running our business from here. We bought it for a multitude of reasons. One, it's just a great creative space to be in. Two, we strongly believe in adaptive reuse and having interesting and historical buildings existing in our community. They add character and a spirit that you're not going to get from a new building.
And the long-term viability of any community is its downtown. So we really believe strongly in preserving our buildings downtown, and it's more than just our heritage as well. It's an economic issue. I mean, if you have none of these old buildings, you're losing a huge opportunity. And so this is our time to keep this building, and luckily other folks have felt strongly and kept this building. It's over 100 years old.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It's a wonderful building, and with any luck, it'll be here for another 100 years.
The Westcott House, for us, we're not from Springfield. We moved here 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was the very first place we visited when we moved to town. I still can remember Tom and Dina went there first on their own and wandered around while I was working on photographs. And then we immediately became members. So one of the ways that we have been able as Itinerant Studio to partner with the Westcott House is we host Art for Wright. And what that is an auction here in our studio and a party that we offer the pieces that we have as seconds or from our showrooms. We've already done it for 5 years, and we're looking forward to doing it a 6th year this September. Look for the dates on the Westcott House site. Email or check in with our site as well at Itinerant Studio. But it's an awesome way for you to be able to get artwork at really good prices. And you're directly helping the Westcott, because 100% of your purchase goes to the Westcott House. Thank you so much for coming into our studio here in downtown Springfield. We hope that you and yours stay healthy and are able to hold up during this time period of shelter in place. When this is all over,
We look forward to seeing you in September at the Art for Wright here at our studio. Thank you very much.
thank you.
It's a lovely view here. We are entering College Hill neighborhood, right?
Yeah, the beautiful Gottwald house is on the left, one of our great architects in the period when the Westcotts moved to town, late Victorian architect who designed a lot of the houses up through this section of the city, in part because a lot of these people were his relatives. It's always helpful as an architect to have a lot of relatives with money who are willing to build things. This is Wittenberg off to the left, my alma mater, the university that has pulled a lot of us to Springfield. I've noticed Tom driving through a number of yellow lights, thankfully no red ones.
Yeah, you
so
don't
far.
want to stop that car.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's kind of like, okay, here we go.
So this is another one of those great places to live in Springfield that is always benefited by the university, but of course also the university can hurt some of that development in the neighborhood because there's a lot of college students. It requires a special type of person who's willing to live near a couple college parties up in the university district. But really some big, beautiful houses, and there's a great mix of people who live next to fraternity houses and student housing.
Of course, Kevin, you didn't party
I did not.
at all during your college years.
I spent most of my time in the library studying to be the historian that I am today.
You see, that's how sometimes I question his stories. He is willing to tell you so many. Yeah, you know, so I admire his memory. That's what I guess it takes to be a good historian. But you know, sometimes I do wonder, is he making this stuff up?
Quite a bit of it. So here we're entering Ridgewood. If the timeline would be a little bit different, Ridgewood's platted in 1914. If the Westcotts would have waited a couple years, they certainly would have built their house in this neighborhood, because this was the up-and-coming neighborhood. This is the type of neighborhood across the country that a lot of the prairie-style houses were built in. Springfield really didn't have a neighborhood like this up until this point, which is why they built on Millionaire's Row. But not long after they built their mansion, the character of that neighborhood really started to change with the development of neighborhoods like this. You can't see it in this image, but Harry Kissel, the house is off to the side. He's the person who platted this neighborhood. Really one of the great suburban neighborhoods in America in this period.
Can you feel this breeze? It's just such a wonderful street with all the trees and canopy of trees and the boulevard. It's such a, grand ride through this neighborhood. It's wonderful.
And these neighborhoods were really designed around the car. They're the first neighborhoods that the car is thought about. And you would think that you want these kind of tree-lined streets, and we had those with these boulevards for horse and wagon or horse and carriage. But really a lot of these came into fashion around the same time as the car, as the idea of taking a leisurely stroll, as Tom is doing with all of us right now, really came into fashion, where wealthy families would go out in their touring cars and drive around. These boulevards became really popular. So now we're entering into the country club. The Westcotts were early founders of the country club. Right after they arrived in the spring of 1903. In early 1904 at the Lagonda Club, where they were members, they met to start forming what later would become the Springfield Country Club. So this is really a beautiful scenic area with one of the great golf courses in Ohio. You see the tennis courts off to the side, and the Westcotts were early members out here at the Country Club.
Yeah, I think Tom is enjoying this part especially because he's an avid golfer, and this is a lovely, lovely setting. He probably, I think Tom is telling us just kind of shush and isn't that a party? Isn't that supposed to be a party? We're supposed to have some music, not you guys babbling in the back. I think we need to kind of give him some space. But we can't help ourselves. We just keep talking because, quite honestly, and of course, as you can notice, Kevin is covering a lot of connections here and history, connecting us back to the Westcotts. They had such a big role in the community and building such amazing things. It's funny. One of our colleagues in Chicago once introduced Kevin, saying that if you listen to Kevin for a little while, you will be convinced that Springfield is the center of the universe.
It is.
Yeah, and I attest that. I got sold on Springfield pretty quickly after listening to Kevin.
So this is the drive up on Home Road. This is the drive that we take every morning when school is in session to get our kids to school. So I apologize to these homeowners for probably driving a little too fast as we're running right on time to get there before our children will get a little pink slip for being late to school. But it is a beautiful ride to have every morning to drive the kids to school. Some great houses. The golf courses of the country club are off to the right. You obviously can't see them here, these houses back onto the country club grounds. So really just one of the bucolic settings in Springfield.
I think that Tom really enjoys driving this car. For most part, it's a lovely task.
Yeah, this is his job right here.
Yeah.
It's not his main job, but I could handle this as part of my job, driving around a beautiful 1920s car. So here, Tom's entering the Ferncliff Cemetery grounds, really one of the great rural cemeteries, which was a movement in cemetery design in the United States, really based off the design down in Spring Grove Cemetery in Cincinnati.
This all makes me a little nostalgic because, we usually at this time of the year we do our summer walking tours, and this year, of course, is a little different. We're working on some substitutes, but nothing replaces, great big group of 40 people connected together and walking around those neighborhoods.
Yeah, with Steve Shaner down through the cemetery.
Those, yeah.
So this is the Snyder Park Arch, dedicated to John and David Snyder, but was in some ways is also a monument to Mrs. Fitch. It was often called Mrs. Fitch's Arch when the Westcotts were first moving to town. She developed the plan about the same time to pay tribute to them, but in many ways people paid tribute to her for her idea of building that arch. One of the great features of our community. And here is the drive through Snyder Park. Springfield's fortunate to have a park that snakes into our downtown urban environment. A great park designed by a very influential landscape architect out of Columbus, who was influenced mightily by the work of Olmsted.
We hope you are enjoying this ride so far, and we do promise to shut up very soon and let you enjoy your drinks and music that we have for you coming up. We have some great lineup of artists from all around the country who send us some wonderful music postcards. So.
And we are back downtown.
Of course, we had to pick a day where there's road construction on the main Esplanade.
Oh well, it's the city, isn't it? City life. Security National Bank, a little plug for our wonderful sponsor. And now they're changing their name to Park National Bank. And they've been such a great supporter of the Westcott event and Westcott in general, and they are our lead sponsor for this program.
You planned this drive around the idea of being able to say that, didn't you?
I was just very happy to see drove by the bank.
So here we're getting back into the historic district. Off to the left is High Street Methodist Church by Frank Packard, Ohio's most prolific architect. Really one of the great examples of the arts and crafts movement in Ohio, really in the country. We're so fortunate to have it. Again, the key part of the district, the Foose Manor off to the left, one of the great buildings. Springfield's really fortunate to have these big, beautiful mansions still remain. The Bushnell Mansion, also off to the left, home of Governor Bushnell and his wife Ellen. Really one of the great large Richardsonian Romanesque houses still standing in the United States.
So I can't help myself but to say that, I was amazed when Kevin's mom told me once that he didn't speak for quite a while, and she got really concerned. And so he was around 3 years old when he started speaking, actually. So I always love that story because if you know Kevin, he hardly ever is silent. So once he started, he just kept going. And some of you know that joke already, and I do feel sometimes like we are just this old couple repeating jokes. So I apologize if you have to witness this. We are kind of an old couple.
So here we are, the Solar House off to the right. What an adventure to bring that to Springfield. Designed by students at Norwich University in Vermont, which Springfield unusually has so many connections to that university. We've learned about a lot of them during the project and after the project. And here we are coming up on the back of the Westcott House.
Back to the party. Thank you, Tom. This was awesome. You the best.
Oh, my hair's all a mess now after this ride.
Some of you may remember that we were performing live for you last year at the Frank Lloyd Wright birthday celebration at Westcott House in Springfield, Ohio. Obviously, we are not there this time around, but many of you probably remember my hilarious jokes. So I thought I would share one with you today. Why did the golfer wear 2 pairs of pants? Just in case he got a hole in one. Oh, thank you. We've got another great tune coming up for you here. This is a song that old Blue Eyes used to do, and since the theme of today's show is Let Me Be Frank, we thought we'd throw a little Frank in here too. This is Fly Me to the Moon. Fly me to the moon and let me play amongst the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. Oh, in other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Yes, in other words, I love you. Oh, thank you so much. We're so glad that you're tuning in to the Westcott House's celebration of Frank Lloyd Wright's birthday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're Sunday and Mr. Gessel. We were there live for you last year, and hopefully we'll see you again next year. If you want to learn more about us, of course, look us up on our website at funandfancymusic.com. This next tune seems very appropriate in these old times that we're in. This is a song called Seems Like Old Times. Seems like old times, having you to talk with. Seems like old times, having you to walk with, and it's still a thrill just to have my arms around you. It's still the thrill that it was the day I found you. Seems like old times, dinner dates and flowers, just like old times, staying up all hours, making dreams come true, doing things we used to do. Seems like old times, being here with you. Seems like old times, dinner dates and flowers, just like old times. Staying up all hours, making dreams come true. Doing things that we used to do. Seems like old times, being here with you. Oh boy, doesn't it seem like old times these days? Having to stay home, wait for somebody to call you. Thank you all for tuning in and for listening. We are Sunday and Mr. Gessel, and thank you to the Westcott House for having us once again this year. We're going to keep with the theme of Let Me Be Frank and end with another tune from old Blue Eyes himself. This is called The Best Is Yet to Come. Out of the tree of life, I just picked me a plum. You came along and everything started to hum. Still, it's a real good bet, the best is yet to come. Oh, the best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? You think you've seen the sun, well, you ain't seen it shine. I'll wait till the warm-up's underway. Wait till our lips are met. Wait till you see that sunshine day. You ain't seen nothing yet. Oh, the best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? The best is yet to come. Come the day of mine. Oh, come the day of mine. I'm gonna teach you to fly. Oh, we've only tasted the wine. Oh, we're gonna drain the cup drop by. Wait till these arms are right for your charms to surround. You think you've flown before, oh, you ain't left the ground. No, just wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I hold your near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't it be fine? Oh, the best is yet to come. Come the day of mine. Oh, come the day of mine, I'm gonna teach you to fly. We've only tasted the wine. We're gonna drain that cup dry. Wait till these arms are right for your charms to surround. You think you've flown before? Oh, no, you won't leave the ground. Oh, just wait till you're locked in my embrace. Wait till I hold your near. Wait till you see that sunshine place. Ain't nothing like it. The best is yet to come, and baby, won't it be fine? Oh, the best is yet to come. Come the day of mine.
but I don't think that I am awake while I pretend to know where I've decided to go. All of my memories remain tied end to end from my soul, which sits quietly on my back porch. Says this voice inside of me, give me a spoon, I dig up to the galaxy lakes far away. I can't tell if I'm sleeping, but I don't think that I am awake.
Welcome again. So much happened over the last, 45 minutes. I hope you soak it in, all the artists participating. We are so grateful. And by the way, this is all possible because of Rod Hatfield and Brian Traylor, the New Hatch Media and the Now Device. You saw some art by Scott James, who has done Design Studio for many years here, and there's some fabulous material that came out of it. You just saw Erica Davis back with art by Junko Yamamoto, who was our artist here a number of years ago. We actually had her beautiful abstract artwork on the walls of the Westcott House, and it was one of my favorite moments in this house over the last 15 years. You also saw some videos by different artists who have participated with us. And you know, it makes me so nostalgic, those type of events, because when we worked on putting together content, we were just, you just realize that 15 years it's just like we used it pretty creatively, I must say. And it's not because of me, it's because of all those amazing creative people that came along and decided to use this house as their canvas. So I'm just really kind of emotional about it. And we're gonna keep going. And we actually, I asked Rod, and we're gonna make an effort to do some more intimate gatherings later this summer, if possible. We want to do some maybe movie screening. So I'm gonna reach out to you guys for sure and hope that maybe you will join us. We're gonna try to use the house as much as we can under those circumstances. So back to Junko. We're gonna show you some work of her, more of that, along with some fabulous music by Soft. Soft is a Kyoto, Japan-based rock band. You know, when we brought them here in 2008, all the way from Japan, people were actually thinking we're bringing a traditional Japanese, what you imagine to be Japanese music, and they were a little surprised, but I think it was this was all for best, of course, because we want to put a spin on Japanese obsession here in this house with contemporary artists. So there was actually a funny story about it, because on their way here they were detained at Detroit airport with no fault on their own or us. It just was a miscommunication. Likely the officer at the airport didn't have a good sense of humor, and one of the guys responded to a question, who invited you? They said Frank Lloyd Wright. And to this officer benefit, he maybe knew who Frank Lloyd Wright was, and he was like, well, this guy has been dead for a long time, so you are definitely not telling me the truth, and I'm detaining you. That's in our heads how it happened, that this guy was highly educated on architecture. It may be also that he was in a bad mood. But anyway, They had to be stuck at this airport for like 2 days or 3 days. It's now fuzzy, but it was like a lifetime to us because we had all those shows lined up, Dayton, Columbus, Springfield, Yellow Springs, and it was just all falling apart. So now officially I want to say thank you, Congressman Hobson, because he came to our rescue and said what had to be said to those officers, to the you know, what do you call them? Customs, right? Scary people. So they got through, they got here, and they played magnificent concert for us. And so Columbus show went on so wonderfully, and so did Dayton Art Institute. We actually had that concert at the Dayton Art Institute, a fabulous collaboration. And Żuko's paintings in all of it, in a house, outside, projected on the wall. We are so grateful to her, and we're going to have an artist video highlighting her artwork. Circling back, I just want to say a couple things. Itinerant Studio, amazing people who support us. They've supported us for so many years. They are so passionate about our community. They've done what you probably attended some, Art for Right, giving their art to benefit the Westcott House. Fabulous people. And we actually have some artwork of theirs on our website, but I will be sending additional links. Kelly Booth, I mean, those prints are magnificent. We have some, and we're launching just now a sale of those to benefit the house and the artists. So we always a little worried about artists, especially during this time. And we want to do everything in our power to support the house and also the artists who are bringing all this amazing art to us. So I hope you enjoy, and we'll continue with celebrations. Please raise a glass. Thank you for all those photos. We're gonna keep posting those on social media. Thank you for supporting the Westcott House. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this performance. It makes me so want so much to do those type of live events here in the garden. As you can see, it's a perfect backdrop for social events and gatherings and music and art, and we miss that terribly, and we miss you all. And we thank you that despite the circumstances, you decided to support us and tune in and buy your ticket. We want to say again, big thank you to Park National Bank, who is our just devoted supporter in this of this community in general and the Westcott in particular. So we thank you so much. And to all the artists, again, big shout out to the Now device. You've seen some what we call Windows installations. So those are the use of projectors and mapping and this beautiful light show that is created using this architecture as a framework, which I think is pretty cool. And using artists' work such as Junko Yamamoto to make this place so dynamic and full of life. So the Now device has a long story with the Westcott House, and we are so grateful for having this relationship. You also, going back, you've seen some goofy stuff like a Be an Angel video that I did in the depth of the pandemic and us being closed. This was my way to be creative and ask you for your support. And please rewatch it as many times as you wish. And please make fun of me, but at the end of it all, just make sure to check out our website. There is support us, little button there, and you can go to our 15th anniversary where you can choose the level of support. We are running this campaign through October to support the house. So anything you can do to support the Westcott House is very much appreciated. Thank you everyone again, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it brought some happiness to your life, and we will connect again very soon. We will come up with new virtual programs. We will continue doing those. We are now open to the public as a museum, so people can come and tour the house. The capacity is quite limited, and we have all the guidelines online. So we invite you all to join us either on the tour or for a virtual program. We'll keep you up to date. Thank you again for tuning in, and have a wonderful night.